to Shooting the Breeze with Switch Finance. Very special day here. We've got a few extra guests, but all integral members of our industry. We've got Jack Littlejohn over here from Realty Blue. He's a business development manager in their rental and property management division. Next to him is the gun salesman at Realty Blue, Brazenas. We've got Tom Blackhurst. He's been on one of our shootings before, and he's with Blackhurst Law, probably one of the best conveyancers I've ever dealt with. Rowan Siepen from Apex Accounting and Advice. He's my accountant. He's a wealth of knowledge, especially with all the changes that have been happening lately. And obviously we've got Paul, one of our finance engineers, and Bobby. Thanks for coming along, guys. We all work together with the same goal, trying to help clients get into their home, purchase a property. It's always good to chat amongst ourselves, especially, you know, the real estate agents, the conveyancers, to make sure that we're all, I suppose, aligned and make the process a little bit better. So it's good to have this open dialogue, and hopefully today we can pass a little bit of info on to the audience. I know the market's pretty tight, so yeah, it's a seller's market. So if someone's not pre-approved, does that put them in a much worse light compared to someone who has a pre-approval?
Yes, Ray, it puts them pretty much behind the eight ball, so to speak, because you've got so much competition that there's going to be people that have already sold that are cash buyers, people that are pre-approved. I had an instance the other day that a girl came into one of my listings and said, geez, this only sold for 510 not so long ago, and I said, look, you're up against interstate buyers that are cashed up. Yeah. She then went and got guarantor off her parents, like as a guarantor or something
like a family pledge loan where they use their security to help them.
Yeah, and she outbidded them. So I think it's very important you listen to the agent too, and don't think they're just trying to lead you down the garden path, especially in a hotly contested market. But to answer your question, you pretty much are behind the eight ball if you're not pre-approved and haven't done that before you walk in.
Yeah, I've got quite a few clients pre-approved, and here's the challenge with that at the moment is the pre-approvals expire after 90 days, and pretty well nearly all of them have not been able to secure a property in that time. So it's a bit of a balancing act, to be honest. I agree with you 100%. Number one, it shortens the finance time required on the contract if they're pre-approved. That means we only need to get a valuation, give that with the contract to the lender, and you could turn it around with less than a week and have it formally approved. But a lot of people out there with pre-approvals, they're expiring because they can't get a property.
And the time frame's a big deal. So
don't yell at us, it's not our fault.
Yeah, no. I'm saying, about 12 months ago, it was standard that you would have 14 days for finance on a contract.
And
now,
30 days settlement.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now it's getting more 21 days for finance and 30 to 35 days for settlement because of the bank processing times. But also, when it was 14 days, I would only need an extension on 30% of my contracts. Now that we've got 21 days, it's almost 80-90%, even with 21 days, we're having to extend because banks are taking 2 weeks to even pick the thing up. So I think a pre-approval is critical.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have to, in this market, you don't want to be in the position to have to ask the seller to give you more time for finance, because the agent's in the background, still talking to other buyers, still marketing it the whole time that you're applying, and you don't want to be at the mercy of the seller.
Do you ever have backup contracts in place?
Oh, always, yeah. Always working for your seller, always securing a purchaser, and then working on plan B.
Glad you said that. Always work for your seller. Good to hear.
Are you pushing them to take backup contracts, or you?
Oh, completely, yeah. Always, because even in the sense that, like, when it comes to building and pest time, if that purchaser knows there's people hot in the heels wanting that property, they're not going to try and pull anything on minor things in the building pest. In a softer market, they'll try and pull something like, I want a reduction, and I'll go, well, I strongly suggest you don't do that, and this is why, because I have 3 other prospective buyers that really want this.
How about finance extension?
Strongly don't suggest them, as we were speaking of, but if they're necessary, you're probably better off going the longer period and then surprising the seller.
So on all your contracts, are you putting 21 days finance now, or?
21's pretty much standard now.
Yeah. And do you find you get feedback or the brokers work with you to keep you posted on what's going on?
Yeah, the brokers I've been working with have been really good. They're always keeping you in the loop, and then you can keep your client in the loop with your seller, so they're feeling pretty confident.
And that's the important part about this whole balancing act. We all, you work with brokers and solicitors work with accountants and brokers and real estate agents. There's so many times, whether it be a PAYG customer or a self-employed, Rowan, we get asked from the lender, get a letter from the accountant for this or that because there's a company registered in name. So accounting, is an integral part of getting finance. So it's always good to make sure you do have a good accountant that can assist with those letters. You being close to the market, what do you think's going to happen?
I think we're still going to see some good growth. How long that sustains for, I'm not sure. I feel that a lot of the stuff, like we talked earlier with the government changing, the handouts and stuff like that, I feel like there has to be a cooling period. When that is and how much that is, I'm not sure.
So Jack, is it hard for property owners to change rental managers if they're not happy with their current rental manager?
No, it's a really simple process. So basically all they need to do is I send them a bit of documentation that just basically just enlists that they want to sign up with us. They sign that, send it back to me, and I can actually handle that whole process. So what I tend to do is get in touch with the current managing agency directly. Generally it's a 30-day notice period. Never normally that's waived because obviously they want to be paid for that last 30 days of the management. And from there basically we get a Form 6 management agreement signed with the owner as well. And we pick up the files within 30 days and the keys and that, and we arrange with the current tenants, obviously a change of payment as well. Yeah, so extremely simple, and it happens a lot as well. A lot of people don't know how simple the process is, and it obviously can take a lot of stress off your shoulders if you're having issues as well.
And it's good that the owner doesn't have to do that, because sometimes they feel a bit awkward or embarrassed to go and sack their manager.
A lot of owners have a bit of fear of confrontation with it and prefer us to handle the whole process. I've actually got one recently that I think I'm going to pick up in about a month's time. I'm basically just going in, he's kind of actually said he's going to move into the property. And I'm just going to go in and pretend I'm like his mate and pick up the keys. He just doesn't like the confrontation. He just wants to go about it that way. So
extra yard, Realty Blue. If you need help with your property management, Jack's the guy to see. Good stuff.
And I think from my perspective, when buyers are buying an investment property, there'll be a tenant in the property, and on the contract it's got to disclose who the current property manager is. And there's a lot of paperwork in buying property. You've got your mortgage broker's documents, you've got your legal documents, you've got the land titles documents, and you'd be surprised the amount of buyers that'll say, look, I've just done so much paperwork, I'll just go ahead with the current property manager, not knowing what the rental arrears are like, not knowing what the commission's like, not knowing how many times they're going to inspect the property and all the other services that they offer. And it's an easy process to change over. So it's something that's really important for buyers to consider.
I personally have had some atrocious property managers, and when you've had both great ones and bad ones, you appreciate. As I said, the best investment property is one you forget you own.
Yeah.
Commonwealth Bank are predicting, I think it was 16% further price growth over the next 2 years.
Is that going to be as reliable as a 30% drop?
That was,
Did they say that?
Yeah, they did.
In April last year, 30% drop.
No, but that was when COVID hit.
Yeah.
No one knew what the hell was going to happen.
Yeah.
Everyone panicked, and as you said, there was low stock because everyone thought, I'm not going to sell now. Everyone's going to come in and crucify me.
Yes.
I could never have seen this happening.
Yeah, no, we were ringing buyers back from open homes around the time. They're like, what are you ringing me for? I don't, like Tom's saying, that they're thinking, why do I want to buy something that can potentially drop by 30%? So it's very hard to put deals together around that time. Now it's the polar opposite. You're actually managing frustrated buyers' expectations.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of frustrated buyers. I've got a pre-approved finance, they can't buy anything. It's crazy. Rowan, there's been a lot going on in the world of accounting lately with JobKeeper and Job Seeker, and what's the new one now, Job Maker. What's happening with JobKeeper now? Is that coming to an end soon?
Yeah, JobKeeper is finishing on the 28th of March 21, with the final payment of that to be paid just after that date. And I heard the government might help with targeted support to certain businesses.
Okay.
But that's really all at the moment.
All right, so we could see some, I suppose, changes in people's spending habits coming forward. For self-employed people, the importance of putting away your tax liability and your super liability each fortnight or each week or each month, or making sure you pay yourselves formally wages through your business, rather than ending up having a massive liability that you've already spent. Mate, give us your thoughts around that.
Yeah, in the start, when I first started doing accounting, I found that every time we came to do a tax return or do a BAS, the client didn't quite have the money they need to pay the tax, pay the PAYG withholding and or GST and superannuation. So then I like to budget them and make sure they save, like we do their quarter, we find out what their tax, GST, super is, and then we divide it by, say, 13 weeks, and then we get them to pay it weekly.
Okay.
We get them to pay it monthly.
Do they pay it direct to the ATO or put in a holding account?
Yeah, I normally recommend they set up a separate savings account and they just transfer the money there each week or month.
Okay. Rowan's got us doing that now, and it's a bit more, it's less stressful when the time comes to pay that bill because we've got the bloody money there. Mentioned something about tax rates. What's happening with those?
Yeah, a little while ago the government announced that tax rates have been reduced and the reduction was backdated to the 1st of July.
Okay.
So any tax you've already paid, at the end of the year you'll be getting the difference back. So everyone will be getting bigger refunds at the end of the year.
Was that very substantial?
It was a fair bit, yeah. So $20 a week
For
is
the
probably
average?
maybe average,
Yeah.
which it's another $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, yeah.
Thanks, guys, for your input. Really appreciate it. Get in touch with Realty Blue, guys, if you need some help with sales and marketing or property management, and need some expert accounting advice. Get on to Rowan at Apex, and of course Tom Blackhurst, Blackhurst Law. So thanks for your time, guys. That was great, and we look forward to seeing you all next time. Keep questions coming in, and we'll be back again in another month. Obviously, disclaimer, this is not personal financial advice, just general in nature. If you want anything detailed, feel free to contact our office and we can give you a personalised assessment.